Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Peripass webinar. You know me by now. I'm Lily. I'm your content marketeer here at Peripass. And I just wanted to check as we're starting if everyone can see and hear us. So if you can just pop in the chat if you can hear and see. I see Piotr already said hi, so he can hear me. That's good. Okay. And now I have your attention at the chat. Please note also that we have a questions tab down there. And as always, for the Q&A, please collect your questions in that questions tab so we don't lose track of any of your questions and we can answer all of them later at the end of the webinar. All right. So today I have here with me Arne. Arne is a new face for you guys, I think. Arne is
Hello.
product manager here at Peripass, and he will be telling us all about combined transports today. Arne, say hello to the class.
Well, hello. I'm product manager at Peripass. That means I'm looking for common market needs among all our customers in order to build new features. So that means I'm visiting customers. I'm talking to customers, users that are using our product to build the next right feature because we need to prioritize a lot of ideas we are getting in from customers to create as much as value as we can for as much as customers. Because our resources, being it developers and engineers, are limited. So building the right things and building in the right way, in short, that's my job.
Building the right things at the right time in the right way. It's a very challenging job, I would say. And that means that today, combined transport is the right solution for our problems. What were the problems that we saw with customers that inspired us to build this feature?
Yeah. So a typical flow, the driver arrives at the site, he registers, he adds a phone number, license plate, might do its safety test. And at a sudden moment, we want to identify this driver. We want to know why he is there at the site. Is he for loading? Is he for unloading? What shipment does he have with him? So we ask for a reference. But what happens if that driver has multiple references? For instance, he's there for both loading and unloading. There were different workarounds in the field, but none of them were like the perfect solution in our product. Most of those workarounds involved or wasted time for both drivers and dispatchers, or lacking operational audit trail, or dispatching that goes in the wrong sequence. So that's why we came up with a new feature called combined transports.
So all of these issues are actually quite big issues that really impact operations, the
Correct.
flow, the speed of everything that's going on. So we built combined transports. Can you summarize it for us how it works?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, what is combined transports about? It means a driver arrives with multiple references. He can use one of those references to register. The dispatcher will see that this reference is part of a group. And so the driver arrived with multiple shipments. And the dispatcher will be able to dispatch different times this driver to the correct docks. So one registration, multiple dispatch actions, all connected. That's what it is about.
Okay, that sounds awesome. When will this feature be released?
It is available
It's
now.
already out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's even better, I would say. Oh, Pascal says no connection. I hope other people can still hear and see us.
Can someone confirm?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so
That
maybe.
means we can continue.
Okay, I hope it's good. And Pascal, either way, you get the recording, so no worries.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at where combined transports will help. You mentioned some workarounds. Let's discuss the most prevalent ones. First of all, we hear that drivers need to enter, leave, re-enter, leave, re-enter.
Yeah.
It's very a long process.
Correct. That was one of the ways to handle multiple shipments before combined transports was released. So that, let's say we have a driver that has first to unload goods and then later on load new goods. As explained, a workaround would be like after unloading, the driver is instructed to leave the site, register again for loading, and then re-enter the site. Of course, this leads to longer turnaround times because this is like a loss of efficiency. Extra truck movements are involved that could be avoided. And after all, it's irritating for the drivers. So it's overall a slower way of doing things. With combined transports, drivers can use one of their references. That can be unloading or loading, it doesn't matter. A system will detect that this reference is part of a group. And we even will show the list of all the items, all the references in this group to the driver during his registration process.
Okay.
Once registered, all the linked operations in this group will be activated in Peripass, but only the first one in sequence will be eligible for dispatching. So the dispatcher will see in his dispatching queue, like you need to dispatch one reference, but he will have already an overview of what other references or other loading activities are upcoming after the current task. So he has full visibility of all these operations in that group.
Okay. So to summarize, the benefits would be the drivers no longer need to leave the site, so that saves
Correct.
time.
Yeah.
That means there's also less idle time of trucks just waiting around until it's their turn again. Also less queues and better visibility.
Absolutely. So much better flow, fewer delays.
Okay. The second workaround we hear a lot about is drivers have multiple references and they need to enter all of them by registering multiple times in one go. So let's say wants to unload, wants to load, and all back to back.
Correct.
I can understand that that means unclear communication.
Yeah, absolutely. So this means, again, imagine we're in the same situation. The driver first has to unload, then to load. That means in this situation, he is instructed to register on arrival for both references. That is a lot of a repeat of work because for each registration, he will need to enter his phone number, enter his, do the safety test, enter his license plates, etc. So that slows down the registration process and it can result in queues at the registration.
Yeah.
For dispatchers, it is as two different drivers were arrived. So one for unloading, one for loading, while in reality, it's just one driver. But our system treats them as two separate drivers. And that can create confusion because on the same moment in time, the unloading dispatcher can take the decision to dispatch that arrival, while in the meanwhile, the loading dispatcher can also dispatch the driver, and ending up like two messages being sent to the driver: hey, go to dock 1 for loading and go to dock 12 for unloading. So that creates confusion with the driver. So less coordination, slow response rates, a bit more chaos in this situation.
Yeah. So the benefits are the correct order of dispatch is guaranteed.
Correct.
That there's on-point traceability and also way less communication problems.
Less, indeed. And also like the registration is kept to minimal effort, and there's, I think, much more room for human errors.
Yeah. And then our third use case or workaround, as we say, they tell the driver in advance, use one of your registrations, go inside, find someone to talk to, and they will help you. That also sounds like a recipe for problems.
Indeed. That's like the more pragmatical way of doing things. So first of all, let's hope then in the situation of unloading combined with loading that the driver already registers with the unloading activity. If not, if he uses the loading reference, that means he will be directed immediately to loading, there to find out when the doors are open. Okay, unloading needs to find place first, likely at another dock. So time loss, obviously. But after the unloading operation, the driver needs to explain in some kind of way to operators, to the loading operator or unloading operator, well, I have something else to do. Often he has to come across language barriers. And that operator then needs to reach out to a colleague to find out, where do I send this driver to? Is the dock available? Yes or no? So this analog communication for sure will lead to errors and mistakes. Moreover, what's going to happen with those announced shipments that will not be used? That can also create confusion. Are they still expected today? You still need to remember, yes, but they were done part of another visit. So that can lead towards a bit chaos and lack of traceability in your operations.
And your visitor list will be cluttered with expected shipments
Indeed.
already left the yard.
Indeed, or you have to clean them up manually.
So again, great benefit is traceability, smoother communication between driver and company, but also between employees amongst each other, and again, time saving, so much time saving.
Correct. Yeah.
But in all these situations that we just discussed, we talked about shipments where you were expecting a combined situation. What if someone shows up with 2 references, but you were expecting 2 separate drivers? Then what?
Well, we can handle that. So indeed, the 3 different scenarios we discussed before were like we were expecting a group, or we knew already that those shipments would be combined. But it happens a lot at a lot of customers that this is like a surprise for customers that like one driver is combining 2 or 3 shipments. So that's why we also allow during registration that drivers can combine different references in one registration.
Yeah,
so
on the spot.
On the spot. And after the registration, we create the group on the fly. And as of then, it just like as it would have been a group that we knew in upfront. Yeah. So that's just
Peripass takes it from there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
I think it would be really nice to see this all in a demo. Can we do that?
Sure.
Awesome.
Let's dive in.
All right, Arno's gonna share his screen, so you're gonna have a little confusing visual for a moment. There we go. So this is our visitor list.
Okay. Should we ask if the screen share works well?
Yes. Can everyone see the shared screen? Because we see it correctly, but not sure.
All right.
Perfect.
So,
thank you, guys.
I've prepared for you 4 visitors or 4 shipments or 4 visits. The first 2, that's unload 1 and load 1, they are already combined. So for those 2 visitors, we know already that it will be handled by one driver. We combined them by they share like the same reference to a visit number. That's the way how we do that, how we handle combined shipments. 2 other visitors, unload 2 and load 2, they're not yet combined up front. So if I click one of those first 2 visitors, you will see I have like a new menu item, view combined transport. If I click it, I see a list of, like in this group, only 2 items. So there's an unload activity that needs to be happened first. Afterwards, there's a load activity. If I click on one of the other visitors, you will see that I have no menu item to view the combined transport since they're not yet combined. Let me just click this away. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so next step, the driver arrives and wants to register for the combined transport. So let's start with that scenario. So let me open the kiosk. I will choose the English version. It doesn't matter which loading activity I choose. If I would use a load 1 or unload 1, you will see in a minute that he will recognize the group. So I just choose one of the references of the group, and I get an overview of all the shipments that are listed in this group of activities. I accept and I continue. As of then, the normal registration process kicks in. So I need to provide my phone number. I need to walk through some extra steps to provide a license plate of my truck and my trailer. I accept safety briefing. And that's it. So registration is done. Let me return to our management portal to take a look at the results. So if I refresh this list, you will see that the group has been activated. That means the 2 visitors have been updated to new status. The first visitor is waiting dispatch, and the second one has received a new status. Waiting sequence is a new status that we have introduced in the feature of Peripass. If we open a group, that will be clear in a moment. So that means only the first visitor in this group is active. That will be the only one that can be dispatched, while the other visitor is still upcoming. You will see that both have been added to dispatch dashboard Hamburg. So if I open dispatch dashboard Hamburg, you will see in a minute that there's only one visitor there in the queue that I can dispatch. And that's the unload visitor. But also in this dispatch dashboard, I have already a hint that this visitor is part of a combined transport. I can open the group as well from this view. And for instance, just to show what happened after registration, it doesn't matter which visitor I open, both of them, you will see they're like having all the information that was captured during the registration process. That means phone number, license plate, so that information is copied over towards all visitors in the queue. So one registration, but all information is being propagated to all visitors in the group. So that's the loading visitor, load one. But same applies for the unload visitors. Also, you will be able that you will see that I find all those information there. Same for timestamps, for when the visitor arrived. So all that information is gathered on those visitors. So let me go back to the dispatching dashboard. So next step is that the team leader for inbound or the dispatcher will dispatch this unloading visitor. Now, this is regular business. This is things you all know. We will send instructions to the driver. We're ready for loading, unloading, etc. Next step is this visitor, this unloading for this visitor is finished. So I will just trigger this manually for now. So that means the operation is finished, and you will see what happens on the screen, that the yard location has been cleared, and the next visitor in the sequence of this combined transport is being activated. If I take a look at the group, you will see in a minute that the first visitor now is done, and he's ready for checkout, theoretically. But there's like now the second visitor has been activated, and he's waiting for dispatch. And that's what I'm seeing here. So now we can dispatch the loading visitor. Let me send this loading visitor to doc Z1. Just for your information, we can also send like different text messages based on like the first dispatch action. That can include like, hey, welcome on the side of Peripass. You're now good to go to Area 1 for unloading, compared to a redispatch action or any other visitor in the group. You can just send, hey, your location has changed. Next operation finds plates at Z1. So that's all possible within this group.
You can perfectly customize again.
Yes. Also, for the last visitor, you could say your operation now, everything is finished. Please go to like the exit barrier, wait there for a final check or something. So you can just modify your messages based on the position in the sequence you're doing the dispatch action for. To finish off this part of the demo, I just need to conclude with finishing the yard operation, and that will mean that this group of visitors has now been processed completely. So you will see that if I return to the visitor list, unloading and loading is finished, and both visitors are now departed.
Yes.
That all shows off again when looking at this group view as well. That's part one.
That's the expected visitors.
Yeah. Part two, unload two and load two. So those are like two individual shipments. So we are expecting, in fact, two different drivers. Yeah. But to our surprise, those were combined by a carrier, and they're sending one driver for both operations. How will that work? Well, let's go back to the kiosk and start the registration. Again, it doesn't matter. Let this time start with loading.
Let's say he's wrong and does the second reference.
So he starts with loading. We recognize the reference, and now we ask to the driver, do you have any other references? So I will start like with adding other references. For your information, like reference matching does also work here. For instance, if I try with adding Lily, Lily doesn't work. Because that reference is not known. Working. Yeah, you do. You're working, but you're not an expected shipment. But if I will search for unload 2, that is an expected shipment, then I will be able to like start creating a group. I can add as much as references as I want.
So you're not limited in any
You're not limited to 2 or 3 references. When I'm done, I just continue, and then the regular registration process starts. So let me continue. There you go. I choose a goods type. I add a license plate again for these trailers and truck, and I accept the safety briefing. And that's it. And if I now return to the management portal and I refresh the screen, you will see again that result is exactly the same as after the first registration. So that means the unloading activity has been activated, while the loading activity still needs to wait. And if now you will see now that like the new menu item view combined transport is there, and as a proof, yeah, this is exactly what we started the demo with.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's how.
From now on, it works exactly the same as that expected group.
The rest of the demo would just be repeats of an expected combined transport.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So.
Perfect. So is it difficult to set up this combined transport feature? I'm assuming no, because it's Peripass.
It's not that hard. No, I will just give you an idea of what needs to happen to activate combined transport. So in the configuration, there's like a new tile combined transport. If you click manage, you will arrive on the configuration section of combined transports. Basically, it comes down to 3 items. Yeah. First of all, you need to refer to a reference, a grouping reference. That's what we call like the combined transport grouping field. Second of all, you need to explain what profiles can be combined. So in our setup, it's only the unloading and loading profiles that can be combined, but you can add more. And third of all, we need to define how the sequence needs to be calculated. And you will see that this is a combination of first unloading and unloading. So that's an order of profiles combined with custom fields that can also be used for sorting. Most straightforward is like starts of a slot to sort visitors, but you can also add your own custom fields. Yeah. So that's how like the setup is done in a nutshell.
Okay, that seems fairly easy. Okay, that means that we can maybe create a little summary for everyone here. We had some slides like previous webinars. Just to summarize, the combined transport helps you skip complicated flows. It lets you register multiple shipments in one go, so it's a lot quicker for everyone involved. And also it helps you to process those shipments flawlessly. You have perfect visibility, perfect traceability. You have a perfect view, honestly, on whatever's happening.
Absolutely.
And the benefits, of course, is, as we discussed here, that the drivers can register all of these shipments in one go. Your turnaround times should speed up, because if drivers no longer have to leave or like find someone to talk to or whatever, it goes a lot quicker. Same with registrations at the gate. They get prompted to fill in immediately, or they get automatically grouped together. So it saves you a lot of time. And it helps you with the correct order of dispatching, because the combined transport feature itself stops you from dispatching in the wrong order.
True.
Perfectly. All right, that means that it's now time for the Q&A, and I can see, let's put us on the large screen again, and I can see that we have some questions here. When you combine transports in the kiosk, could you also set up the sequence of shipments, or would it be the same way as registers?
Yeah. Today, it's not yet possible to allow the driver to determine the sequence. So it's always determined by an algorithm. We do have some requests already from customers that want to give the power to the driver to set the sequence of references. But at the moment, that is not yet available.
Yeah. So it's predetermined what the sequence is.
It's predetermined, yeah, by an algorithm that you can configure in the configuration, which I just showed. Yeah.
Yes, the feature is already live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think we could also use combined booking for more than one load different shipments in one.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So I know I made it a bit easy during the demo, and I always refer to a combination of unloading and loading. But we have customers in the field that use the feature for different loading activities. The biggest power there is if loading needs to find place at different docks. For instance, I know customers that have like different temperature zones, and they need to collect the shipment in zone 1 and in zone 2. But you could use it also if like loading the same reference needs to be, of different references need to be loaded at the same dock.
Yeah. So yes, it is possible to combine those types of shipments. Yes. Jurgen zegt, we use this already only with option 2, so the drivers combine. How to add the combined transport group, how to create such a group, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's as simple as, you know, I think when we discussed the configuration, the first part needed to do was to say what is the combined reference grouping field. So you need to populate that field. So basically, it comes down to you create 2 visitors. They all have their own reference, but you will need to add like a value in a second field that is like what we in my demo, that was the visitor number field. So as soon as they have the same value there, we see this as a group. So that what needs to be done. So typically, this information is already known up front, and it's being sent by backend systems, being it an SIP or a time book slot, a slot booking tool. We know we get a group number or a visit number or something that refers to that will be done during the same visit.
Yeah, and that should be the same, and then it gets
That should be the same. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 new questions. Can we do this configuration by ourselves?
You can do. If you're like a little bit power user in Peripass, it shouldn't be that hard to do. We really recommend to test it well because it can have some impact. And the most important thing is once you have defined your grouping reference, you can't change it anymore. So you should think about this very wisely. Because you're creating group definitions. It's very hard for us to like create different sets of groups. So at the moment, you could do it, but test it twice on a testing environment before you go live with this.
And if you're hesitant, maybe contact your customer support manager. They can definitely help you if you're a little bit uncertain.
It is typically a feature that I would recommend to bring it live in a guided manner.
Yeah. So maybe the best suggestion is contact your customer success manager for more information.
Yeah.
Can all the combined shipments be executed at the same time? So if you unload a truck and a trailer at the same time at different docks in parallel?
Can all combined be executed?
A truck and a trailer.
So for me, not sure if I captured the question well. So what I have seen in the demo is that the loading activities are being done subsequently. So first unloading and loading. I don't know if it's about like a trailer that's put at dock 1 and a truck that is put at another dock, and that they're split. Haven't thought about that scenario. I would need to think about it, how we could handle that. Yeah, maybe question to come back on later then, I would say. Yeah. I think we also would need a little bit more context to understand the use case well, but I assume it's like splitting the trailer and the truck and doing the unloading in parallel of both items. Yeah.
Is there any cost linked to this new feature?
Well, this feature is part of the Plus bundle. So it's not in the basic bundle, but what we call in the automation bundle, because it's a little bit more advanced setup. So those of you that are already in the Plus bundle or in the Pro bundle, they can just use it for free. Others, it requires you to upgrade to the Plus bundle.
I see one comment in the chat. Thanks. You're welcome. Are there any more questions? Now is the time to ask. Well, give him a minute. I don't see no one typing.
So let's go to next steps then.
Yeah, time for next steps. So what can you do and expect after this? I have one more question. Nice presentation. Thank you. Okay, so the next steps are if you're a customer already, and also if you're not a customer, anyone who has registered will get this recording and the slides in your inbox. You get an automated email after this, so you get all this information. If you are a customer and you're interested, please follow up with your customer success manager. For example, if you want to upgrade to this bundle to start using this feature, or if you want to start with it, as we discussed. and they will be able to help you and make sure that you get the most out of this feature. If you're not yet a customer, and if you think, I'm interested in starting with Peripass and exploring this feature and other features like it, please contact our head of sale, Evelien. Her email is here, and her email will also be in the slides that you get in your mailbox. So you don't have to start typing it down really quickly. You will get all this information. All right. And with that, we are wrapping up our webinar. Arne, thank you so much for explaining everything here to our customers and maybe prospects. I don't know.
My pleasure.
And we will see you guys next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.